I want to talk to you about Mr. Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez was just 22 when he was arrested in the Bronx on a case that was eventually dismissed. However, this case remained open for the next 50 years. You heard that correctly. 50 years. 5 decades, 2 generations, or half a century. But Mr. Rodriguez's story is not a unique one. I know this through my work at the Bronx Defenders, where we screened hundreds of rap sheets for accuracy and found that nearly half contained mistakes. These mistakes have serious consequences. Like in the example of Mr. Rodriguez, it kept him from finding employment for the next decade or so. Today I want to talk to you about who's responsible for these mistakes, their implications, and what the government is doing to address them. Currently, New York State and the Division of Criminal Justice Services is ultimately responsible for the rap sheets that it houses. Anytime somebody is arrested and fingerprinted anywhere in New York, this information is transmitted to DCJS, who in turn submits this information to the FBI's National Crime Information Center. They gather all the information that they have and transmit that back to DCJS, who in turn takes all of this information and boomerangs it back to the arresting officer in precinct in as little as 3 minutes. Criminal Procedure Laws 16050, 16055, and 72035 are supposed to automatically seal many of the arrests and convictions that result from many of these arrests. However, research shows that repositories of arrest records like DCJS and the NCIC suffer from a lack of quality control, making errors frequent. In fact, it's estimated that over 2 million New Yorkers have mistakes on their arrest records. 2 million New Yorkers. That's equivalent to the total population of Alaska, Wyoming, and Vermont combined, or enough people to fill Yankee Stadium 37 times over. So what are the implications of these mistakes? Well, in New York State alone, having an arrest record can preclude somebody from employment, obtaining housing, or financial assistance. Worse yet, New York State sells these often erroneous records to third-party background check companies, who in turn sell these records to employers and the general public. If you've ever been asked to consent to a background check, these are the records that they're accessing on you. Which begs the question, do you think that employers scrutinize these findings for accuracy? Or do you believe that their perspective on the applicant has changed once an arrest or conviction is reported? Millions of people like Mr. Rodriguez suffer the consequences of these mistakes, mistakes that are no fault of their own. So, what is the government doing about this issue? Currently, there exists New York State Senate Bill S-3256 and S-744, which are supposed to mitigate a lot of the consequences of inaccuracies in arrest records. However, absent from both of these bills are legal mechanisms that would force DCJS to comply with their own laws. Absent this legal mechanism, these laws will likely suffer from the same neglect as the laws already on the books. And without this legal mechanism to enforce compliance, rap sheet errors will continue occurring unchecked as more and more arrests and dismissals and convictions are recorded each and every day. It remains unethical for them to do so, especially for people who are trying to stabilize their life post-justice involvement. What New York needs now more than ever is an expungement law. Without that, rap sheet errors will continue affecting our community members, your neighbors, your friends, your coworkers. So here's my call to action. New York State must be held accountable for the mistakes that their data produce. Not only that, but they must go back and fix their mistakes. New York State's small mistakes are having big implications for millions of New Yorkers, like Mr. Rodriguez. We don't have 50 years to wait. We need urgent action now.